and welcome to another episode of It's Tea Time. I'm your host, Jonathan Sellers, and alongside me is the Director of Athletics for Troy University, and that's John Hartwell. And John, we're going to start things off today talking a little basketball, because if fans got to go to Trojan Arena Monday night, they got to see some exciting basketball.
Absolutely. An opening night, Veterans Day doubleheader, and both our men's and women's team eclipsing the century mark, the women scoring 100 on the nose and the men scoring 102, and getting victories over FAMU for the women and LaGrange College on the men's side, and really a great opening and certainly an exciting brand of basketball. No danger of seeing many shot clock violations with both of our teams going up and down the floor, but a great start there. Our men now 1-1. They lost Friday night 69-54 at Ole Miss. Had some bright spots in that game, just didn't shoot the ball very well. And certainly our women now 2-0. They won on the road Friday night at Alabama State. So good start for both, and turn around and in action again later this week. The men will be at UAB in the Bartow Center in Birmingham Thursday evening, and certainly hope some of our viewers out there in the Birmingham area can get out to go to that game. I'm actually going to attend that game on my way to Oxford for the football game this weekend, and then an opportunity for those folks not traveling to Oxford for the football game on Friday, a lunchtime matinee game for our women, and certainly an opportunity for some of the local school kids to get out and see them play. So you know, we are in the throes of, in the early parts of basketball season, and certainly as football regular season is winding down. And
both wins yesterday were historic. For one, for the men's team, it was Coach Cunningham's first win, and for the women, it was the first time for them to start 2-0 since 2005. So exciting starts, as you said.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, both Coach Phil Cunningham and Coach Chanda Rigby on the women's side, very much up-tempo basketball, but a lot of focus on fundamentals, and I think both of these teams, as folks come out and watch them play, are going to get better and better as the season goes on, and we're excited about the future of Troy basketball, both on the men's and women's side.
All right, well, let's look at football now. Another tough loss the other day against Lafayette. Just many chances, just couldn't quite get things together at the end.
One of those cases, again, we go down, take the opening drive, kick a field goal, go up 3-0, and then give up a touchdown coming back the other way. And has been the case several times this year, playing catch-up football, and certainly credit to our defensive coaching staff for making adjustments at halftime. After giving up 35 points in the first half, we only give up 6 in the second half, and our offense played pretty consistently and put points on the board. We had a school record 53-yard field goal by Will Scott in that game, and it literally came down to the last possession. You know, we had first and goal. I think it was on the 7, under 2 minutes left, and just could not capitalize and end up losing 41-36 to a very, very good Louisiana Lafayette team. That was their 7th victory in a row, and again, very close. And a frustrating defeat, but you know, again, and I've said this several times on the show, we have a great group of young men on our football team, and still very focused, and we stand 5-5 overall now. Obviously a very formidable task this week as we go to Oxford to play against an Ole Miss team that just became bowl eligible after beating Arkansas this past week. I think they're 6-3 now, and you know, they beat LSU, they beat Arkansas, they beat some very good teams, but we'll have our work cut out for us. But hey, I think we'll go over there and play very, very well. Play this Saturday, and then certainly have you know, 13 days before the next game, Black Friday, closing out the season here against Texas State. But again, standing at 5-5, certainly you know, you could have a play here or there, and we could be 9-1,
right,
very reasonably so. Really, the only game that we were not in down the stretch was that Mississippi State game. But you know, you can't spend a lot of time saying what ifs. We've got to deal with the facts at hand. 5-5. We need to get another win. You know, it'd be great to get 2 more, and we'd love to do that. But certainly to become bowl eligible, we need to get at least 1 more to get to that magical 6 number. And you know, there's a lot of football left to be played, but I think there's potentially a home for us in a bowl game if we get to those 6 wins.
Just need to reach that 6. And Oxford is a place that you've spent many years at. You're quite familiar with it. Are you giving Coach Blakeney any inside information on the game on Saturday?
You know, it's funny. I walked in our offensive staff meeting earlier this morning, and that's what they were asking. They said, hey, give us the strengths and weaknesses of these guys on defense. And certainly having spent almost 10 years there, it will be nice to go back. And but looking forward to a potential Trojan victory. I mean, nothing would be sweeter, as I told my wife the other day, to walk out in the middle of that Ole Miss script at midfield post-game to shake those guys' hands and with a victory in hand. But, Coach Hugh Freeze, they've done an outstanding job his second year. Again, they get bowl eligible the other day, 2 straight years he's done that. I know many of their staff. I know many of the student athletes there, so it'll be a special trip to Oxford.
And you never know. As you said, they've won some big games this year, but right now they're looking ahead maybe a little bit. They got Missouri on the schedule, a very highly ranked Missouri, and the Mississippi State in 2 weeks. So you never know what could happen.
Yeah, and their schedule's kind of strange. It'll be interesting to see what kind of crowd they have Saturday, because they played, I think it was 4 of their first 5 games on the road, came back, and this game is 5 of 6 straight home games they've had. So our game sandwiched between Arkansas and Missouri, maybe we'll have the opportunity to see them overlook us a little bit, if you will. But I doubt that, because Coach Hugh Freeze, who obviously was at Arkansas State as an offensive coordinator one year and then the next year as the head coach, he is very familiar with Troy and certainly with Corey Robinson. In fact, a little funny sidebar, I'll never forget the day that it was announced that I got the Troy AD job. One of the first people that called me was Hugh Freeze, and he and I were very good friends before then and have remained good friends. And Hugh said, first thing, congratulations. He said, second, he goes, I want that Troy game off of our schedule. He said, I know about Corey Robinson, and he comes in here as a senior, he'll sling it all over the yard. So let's hope that Hugh's projection from over a year ago comes true.
Well, and speaking of Corey Robinson, we haven't mentioned this, but he has continued to climb up the passing yards in all-time history. He could end up in top 6 or 7 all-time in NCAA, and he's just had a great career here at Troy.
Absolutely he has, and I've had the pleasure, not as long as his entire career, but certainly over the last year and a half, to see Corey's progression, and certainly a very gifted quarterback, but has really emerged as a team leader. And as I mentioned earlier, the cohesion on this team, and they've battled through some tough losses, and I credit him in a lot of cases providing that good senior leadership. And certainly you look at him in the record books, I think he's now the career Sun Belt all-time yardage, all-purpose yardage leader. Certainly in passing yardage, I think he's 8th right now on FBS all-time passing yardage, has broken all kinds of career touchdown passes, records and things like that. And certainly I hope his career extends beyond 2 more games. Certainly, he is a marquee figure too in terms of us being attractive to potential bowls with what he's done. And certainly, you mentioned the right hand, you've almost got to mention the left too with Eric Thomas, and what Eric has done in terms of touchdown receptions and career receiving yardage and stuff like that. A very dynamic 1-2 combo.
Exactly right. One more question about the game. I know you're very familiar with Oxford. What are some places people should check out there? I know a lot of people are going to go to this game. It's a great site, the Grove and all. What should they check out?
Sure. With an early game, it may temper a little bit of the groving, if you will, but an 11 a.m. kickoff. But there's some great places downtown on the Oxford Square, the Ajax Diner, City Grocery, certainly the library, and a lot of folks say, oh, the library. Well, it's a little different library. It's a sports bar, but there are a lot of great places in Oxford to eat, to have refreshment, to shop. My wife will be there a lot of this week. I'm kind of concerned what that damage is going to be to my credit card, but anyway, it's a great community, and like I said, after having spent 10 years there, it'll be great to go back and see old friends, and certainly great to have the opportunity to come away with a Trojan victory there.
Let's hope we can do that. And let's talk a little bit of volleyball. They'd had kind of a down couple of weeks, lost about 6-7 in a row, but this weekend really stepped up, got 2 matches that they really needed in their last 2 home matches of the year.
Absolutely. And Saturday night, coming off a big emotional win on Friday night, Saturday night, Texas-Arlington, senior night, and a hard-fought 5-set match, and 2 big wins that I believe secured us a spot in the Sun Belt Conference tournament, which we will host starting next Thursday. Okay. So very excited about that. And, this team certainly has the skills to compete and maybe get on a run and win the league. Certainly we'll have home court advantage, so we'll look forward to this final weekend. I believe Friday is at Friday is at Georgia State, I think, and Saturday at Western Kentucky, before coming back home again to host the Sun Belt Conference Championships.
And we talked to Coach Kirkpatrick all season. He said just the parity in this league has been unbelievable, so you never know what can happen in a tournament setting.
Absolutely.
And let's talk a little bit about softball. I know you wanted to talk a little bit about the facility and how it's coming along really quickly.
Yeah, spent about an hour this morning out there touring the construction site. Really coming along. They've got the roof on the indoor facility for hitting, pitching cages, the locker room, such as that. They've got a lot of the brickwork done around the exterior. They've got the shell, at least, of the expansion of the press box and coaches' office areas. So it is really going to be a top-notch facility. We were out there looking at a couple of things to possibly tweak, looking at having a kind of a patio deck similar to what we've got in baseball down the third base line, to be able to put picnic tables, right. Kind of have a family picnic area out there. So we're really excited. Construction is moving from a time standpoint ahead of schedule, actually. So all signs point to being fully functional for that February 7th game against Auburn to open the season.
Well, that's got to be very exciting for you. And I know a lot of people may not realize this, and we've talked about it before, that the field will actually be turfed in the outfield, and that's something you don't see a lot in softball, but it's going to be here.
It really will. It'll be nice, and certainly from a maintenance standpoint should cut down on some of our maintenance. So the outfield and the foul territories will be the artificial grass, and then the infield will be real dirt as required by NCAA guidelines.
All right, well, look forward to seeing that facility go up, and if you haven't had a chance, go by Elm Street, and you can just take a glance at it. It's not completed yet, but I mean, it is going by quickly. So
it really is. Every day you can ride by and see the progress in construction.
All right, and we look forward to talking to you next week and hopefully talking about a big win over Ole Miss.
No question. Thanks, Jonathan.
All right, and stay tuned for more coming up on It's Tea Time. Welcome back to It's Tea Time, and here to talk about the men's basketball team this week is going to be assistant coach Ben Fletcher. And Ben, thanks for joining us here this week.
Thanks for having me.
And Ben, y'all started the season on Friday up in Oxford against Ole Miss. You didn't come out with a victory, but what did you think about the team's performance that night?
I thought the guys came out with great energy, played hard. We kind of found some things out about ourselves. For one, we knew very quickly that we had to be a better rebounding team. But we also found out that offensively we can get some things done on the offensive end that a lot of teams can't do. So we found a lot out about ourselves, and we're going to get better at that point.
And then Monday night you got to come back, play LaGrange. And I read where Coach Cunningham wanted to schedule a game to give a lot of players experience and also get a good victory. And you're able to do that against the LaGrange team. And what were your thoughts on that one?
Well, first half was really good for us. I think our guys came out and really played well and executed on both ends of the floor. And after halftime, we came out, had a big spark to start it off, and then kind of got a little sloppy at the end. But all in all, you like the way it ended. We got the win, and that's what's more important. But we want to try to get better each day, and that's what we've been doing.
And people may know the Hunter Williams of the team and the Antoine Myers, but a lot of people got to see action last night, and some guys like Kelton Ford got to step up and just give us some of those players and what we can expect from them throughout the year.
Well, yeah, first and foremost, Kelton. He's a true freshman for us this year. Kelton's played well these 2 games. He's really having, he's having to step back a little because in high school he had to do so much.
Right.
But here he has a different role. He has to be a true point guard for us, and he's learning. He's getting better. Kevin Thomas was a JUCO transfer for us. He's seeing a lot of minutes for us too. He's doing a lot of things for us. He can play a lot of different positions, so you'll see a lot of him.
Okay.
Some of the other guys are sitting out right now, but those two guys for sure that you'll see a lot of.
All right, and you've got a big game Thursday as you take on UAB. Trojans have never beaten UAB, but it's a big in-state rival, still a fierce battle between these two. What can we expect out of that one?
Well, I think you'll see two teams fighting hard. It'll be a good test for us, another road game for us in 7 days. But it'll show our guys, hey, you got to come play, ready to play every night. You got a good team in UAB. We just finished a scout on them. They're big, they're physical, they like to rebound. They're similar to Ole Miss, the way they like to spread the floor. But like I said, I look to see on Thursday night two teams battling out all the way to the end.
And what will you have to do to get a victory against the Blazers?
Well, I think the one thing, you have to stop them in transition. They really love to push the ball in the open floor. And then the other thing, we have to rebound well. We have to win the rebound war in order to have a chance in this game.
All right, Ben, well, thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll look forward to seeing you more throughout the season.
No problem, thanks.
All right, stay tuned for more coming up on It's Tea Time. Now on It's Tea Time, we're going to take a look at the women's basketball team with the head coach of the women, and that's Coach Chanda Rigby. And Coach, a 2-0 start for your team, a very exciting opening weekend. You've got to be happy about that.
Yeah, I'm very happy about it. It's very fun to come here and talk about it, so thanks for having me.
And Alabama State on Friday night, you got a big win up there in Montgomery, and could you just talk about that one for us?
That was a big win because it was the first one, and last year they led us the entire game, and we won on a buzzer shot, so we knew they were hungry to come out in their arena and beat us. But our players did a good job, and some of our new players came in and stepped up, and as a team we all gelled together and pulled out the win.
And then Monday night at Trojan Arena, I know there were a lot of fans out there for a big 100-88 victory over Florida A&M. To get those 100 points, that was exciting, but just another victory had to be exciting.
It is hugely exciting, and they have a major player. She's her conference player of the year there with Grice, and it took more than one of our players to hold her. We got a couple of them on her, but we did it, and it seemed like they led a lot of the game, but the last 4 minutes we went on a 20-point run where we scored 20 points in 4 minutes, and I think held them to 4 points in that time. So we did a good job at the end when it counted.
And I know fans that got to go out to the game really got to see your style of play, a lot of fast-paced, back-and-forth basketball and a lot of pressure defense. And I know that's what you want fans to watch out for.
Yeah, unexpectedly, they actually got more shots off than us. We always strive to get 100 shots off, which is hard to do, especially in women's basketball. But we didn't get as many shots off as we wanted, and that's something we're working on to improve as we go into Tennessee State this week.
Right, and you got Tennessee State, as you just mentioned. That game's going to be at noon on Friday. First, talk about the opponent, Tennessee State. What can we expect out of them?
Tennessee State, they have a new coach and a new program, and they're hungry, kind of like where we are, to show that we're turning things around. He's recruited some great athletes over there. We've been watching a lot of film, but today's the first day that we'll actually get on the floor with our team and practice for Tennessee State.
All right, but the game is at noon, and that may be an unusual start time, people may think, but there's a reason for that, and can you explain that?
Right, we've invited all the school kids and high school kids, elementary, junior high, and high school kids out in Pike County and the surrounding counties. We have an initiative working together with Michelle Obama's Let's Move program. We will have education and giveaways about staying healthy throughout the game and during halftime. And, we're just inviting all the kids to come out. It's free. I would also like to invite the businesses of Troy out. We hope bosses will let employees come over and have lunch with us and watch a game.
Yeah, if you get a lunch break, go over and check out the
Come
Trojans.
on over.
And also, you've got a game at Mercer on next Tuesday, so you won't be here to talk about that, but you can go ahead and talk about it now. It's a big game.
Right, we're excited about Mercer. They came over here last year, and it was a close game, but they beat us last year, so we're looking for a little revenge. We want to beat them.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you for joining us, and we look forward to hearing more about your team throughout the season.
Thank you.
All right, stay tuned for more coming up on It's Tea Time. Welcome back to It's Tea Time as we take our final look at Troy sports, and we're going to talk about some volleyball, who had a very exciting weekend after a loss to South Alabama on Wednesday. Coach, you came back and really needed 2 wins as you took on Arkansas State and UT Arlington. Never having beaten Arkansas State before, you pulled out a win on Friday, and then senior night against UT Arlington were able to come out with the win there. And so you just have to kind of have a sense of relief after those two.
You can always handle close matches when you win.
Right.
We played South Alabama on Friday, lost games 3 and 4 by 2 points each. played Arkansas State the first 3 games to 2-point games, and then won the 4th game by 3 points. And then nationally we go 5 with UTA and win 15-13 in the 5th game. So it was just an emotional roller coaster of a week. But that's how we've played this year. Everything we've done has been really close. We either won close or lost close. And it was a good feeling this weekend to finish up Friday and Saturday with wins.
And how big was it? Not only was it senior night, but you really needed those wins to try to work your way back into the conference tournaments talk and to really get those wins Friday and Saturday.
That was huge. Hosting the conference tournament, you never want to be on the outside looking in. The cliche is the backs were against the wall. Well, our backs were against the wall. And luckily our team played really well. We seemed to fix some things in practice this week, and they were determined to try to get a win on Friday to start with. And then Saturday was actually a really good match. I think it was, there were pretty good teams here all week, and I like to think we were part of that as well. To get a couple wins out of the 3 matches is pretty good.
Now, will this secure your spot in the conference tournament, those 2 wins?
It gives us a much better chance. Basically, it all comes down to Friday.
Okay.
We play Georgia State out at their place on Friday evening. If we win, we're in. If we lose, then it depends on what the loss is. If it's a 3-0 loss, then they go, we don't. If it's 3-1, then it comes down to points scored for and points scored against. If we would happen to lose in 5, then we go because of games won versus games lost.
Wow.
So
you'd
Friday, I would rather hopefully win 3-0, take the pressure off there. But I'm not going to say it's in our hands, but we have the ability to close it out on Friday, and that's all you can really ask for.
And then you go to Western Kentucky also on the weekend, and that's never a tough task, but another chance to help build momentum to play well against the Hilltoppers.
Right. I mean, they're the top team in the conference. And we try to judge ourselves by playing the best teams. That's why we scheduled our preseason the way we did. And, the last regular season meeting with us in Western Kentucky will be something to remember. It's their senior night. So, we want to try to discourage their seniors as much as we can. But, we've got to have Friday night first. That's huge, and we'll see how we play that day.
And just looking out a week from the tournament time, what are you going to look to work on as you hopefully head to the tournament? I mean, I know you're concentrated on Friday, but if you can secure that spot, what will your team be working on?
When we take care of our side of the ball, we're pretty good. Unfortunately, at times this year, we have not taken care of our side, and that's been our preseason, and it's been our conference season where we've tried to make sure that every touch we have is a positive touch. And as we continue to keep going, we're a process-oriented team, and that's what we're trying to keep that process going.
All right, Coach. Well, thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll have some good news to talk about next week.
Thanks, Jonathan.
All right, and join us again next week as we have more on It's Tea Time.